Have you been to an RV rally?
Have you considered going?
This week on the StressLess Camping RV podcast, Tony and Peggy talk about the benefits of attending an RV rally, gathering, meetup, festival, convention, whatever.
We also have another pumpkin recipe.
Yeah, this one
because, fall, y'all.
Yeah, this one's from our friends Kathy and Steve. They shared it with us, and I cannot wait to share it with you and then actually try it.
Yeah. We have this week's podcast along with all the notes, the stories, and all of the information that goes with this episode, along with discounts, deals, helpful tips, and more at our home on the web at StressLessCamping.com.
Don't forget to like and share, and thank you for joining us on our weekly RV podcast adventure. He's Tony.
She's Peggy.
And we're two RV industry veterans who travel part-time.
In this here small trailer, y'all.
It might not seem like part-time because we say that a lot.
Well, we've been traveling a lot. We've been putting miles on the odometer.
Miles and smiles, and sharing adventures and helping you with great tips,
tricks,
and discounts. State of the script, man. Just state of the script.
Oh my gosh, yeah. All right. Well,
let's start with let's start with a downer and then go up from there. We did get an email this week from the Family RV Association, formerly
used to be
FMCA.
Yeah.
Family Motor Coach Association. Now they're calling themselves Family. I don't know why they're not calling themselves FRVA, but anyway, the Family RV Association has voted. They did this meeting and voting and everything in their rally in Oregon, and the price of the annual membership will be going up to $99.
Yeah.
I think this is still a bargain.
I do too.
I think that if for no other reason whatsoever, that not roadside assistance, but the medical assist, I think. Yeah, that I think is worth as $100 insurance policy. And then there's so many other things that FMCA offers.
Yeah, I mean, we recently spoke with the FMCA, so we'll put a link in the show notes to that episode. But there's so much they offer, and they have now different memberships, including one for like dreamers. If you're like, I'm thinking of it. Mm-hmm. FMCA has a really huge library of resources of good information. Mm-hmm. They have probably the best roadside assistance. Now that's an upgrade.
Right.
But they have the best roadside assistance. They have the medical assist. There's so many things because it is a big organization. And so if you're not a member, perhaps consider, we do have a discount to their membership. And the price went up because, frankly, it's just costing more to run the organization.
Yep.
And truthfully, people tend to join stuff less nowadays for whatever reason. Like your local Kiwanis or Rotary or any of those, they're probably experiencing some challenges too. So maybe consider going to an FMCA convention and joining. I don't know. We like it.
Yeah. You know what you could join, though, in addition to FMCA or any other Kiwanis, is the growing group of people who can boondock without a care in the world.
Well, there you go. I think those people might have visited our friends at ABC Upfitters.
That's right.
For their Mastervolt power system. And Mastervolt, as we say, has come out of the marine industry. It's a really good system of lithium power systems for your RV that is so reliable. Companies like Rockwood, Flagstaff, Thor Motor Coach, and a number of others actually put them in their RVs right from the factory. But if you're not lucky enough to have one of those rigs, well, they can put one in your RV. And we've been really impressed with watching the folks at ABC Upfitters engineer systems specifically for RVs that just really fit well.
Yeah, and in every size. We have seen things from gigantic fifth wheels to Class B vans, and they not only cater to the size of your RV, but to what you need the system for. If you just need a little bit of extra oomph, they can do that. If you need to be able to live off grid forever, they can help you with that too.
Yeah, so the way to get hold of them is to give them a phone call at 574-333-3225 or
check out their website, abcupfitters.com.
Hey,
what?
Have you been to an RV?
That was a tough segue for me. I couldn't figure out what to say. I've been to a lot of RV rallies. I have, because I love them.
We do too. So what in the wide world of sports is an RV rally?
It's a rally for RVers.
Oh, okay, well.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening. You have a great week.
RV rallies, RV conventions, RV meetups, RV group campouts, all those RV things. They're just groups of RVers getting together and camping. And that's really kind of where it ends. It really spreads out from there, but that's the real bones of it. And then it might also be a lot of other things that we're going to talk about, but that's really it. That's, a number of RVers camping nearby each other.
Yeah.
That could be that simple.
We'll get into why you want to go to one of these, if
Yeah.
you do it all. But where can I find these RV rallies? Besides, of course, one of the good places is you do a remarkable job of keeping our calendar up to date.
Well, I try
At StressLessCamping.com, we have a full RV show and event calendar.
We have an RV and event calendar. And the other way that you can do it is by, for example, joining the Family RV Association.
Yeah, that's
formerly FMCA.
Right. I mean, they have international as well as regional special interest gatherings like Golden Spike, those railroad stuff.
Right. So they have chapters, and the chapters are all, some of them are regional, but some of them are, all the people who love golden retrievers might get together and start a chapter. I don't know.
There's also chapters for specific brands.
Sure, everyone who has that kind of a brand. And so there are all sorts of opportunities there. Of course, FMCA overall has 2 conventions a year, one in the spring and one in the fall. And those are great. But if that's maybe too many for you, it's not the right time and place for you, too many people, I mean. Maybe
because some of those annual conventions, or what do they call it, the national conventions, there's well over 1,000
like
RVs.
1,000 RVs. So, that can be big. There's a lot of benefits to that, but maybe that's too much for you to get started. Maybe you join a local chapter of FMCA or other things we'll talk about, and maybe you go with 5 or 10 other campers and kind of get your feet wet in the whole rally, gathering, meetup type of a deal.
Another organization that does big and small rally is Escapees. And Escapees, we spoke with Joel Holland recently. They were recently purchased by Harvest Hosts, but that hasn't really changed their focus of being kind of an advocate for we RVers. Mm-hmm. And they have regional, local, national gatherings and get-togethers.
Right.
For example, we went to the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta last year.
Right.
Through Escapees.
Escapees. So, there are, again, chapters. There are chapters, and there are also what they call birds of a feather. Mm-hmm. And there's the Boomers. I think that's actually a chapter.
And one day we'll be old enough to join the Boomers.
Right, one day. So with the Boomers group from Escapees, we were able to get into the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, and we got to crew for a balloon pilot, which was an amazing experience. We talked a lot about it a year or so ago. We're missing it right now.
Yeah, as we're talking, it's going on.
Because we're at some other rallies, and they're in a different part of the country. So we'll keep talking about that.
There goes Peggy up in the air with Will. Oh, gosh. Bye. Have a nice time. Wow.
a lot of people just left yesterday and today from Frogtoberfest.
Yeah.
So let's unpack that. Frog is the Forest River Owners Group, and we have talked about going to their international or their national. I think they call it international because there's a lot of Canadians, right?
Yeah.
And so we have recently gone to that. We've gone to their international rally 3 times, and we have just finished up a weekend here in Amana, Iowa with Frogtoberfest. Amana puts on an Oktoberfest, which is really fun. And one of the Frog members puts together an outing. And we come to this Amana campground. There were, I want to say 80.
Yeah, I think there were 80
almost
RVs.
80 RVs here. And we had dinners together and we had some events and we went and hung out at the Oktoberfest and, different people who were here camping with us. We did have a beer with them or do a little hay bale dancing. None of us really got up and danced on the dance floor, but but it was a lot of fun. And then we had that camaraderie of, the big campfire at night when it wasn't too windy and the dinners together, and they had a bags or cornhole contest. And so there is, if you own a Forest River, check out the Frog group because they also do. Also, by the way, there's a group of frogs who are at Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. They go every year to Durango, Colorado for a few days and then down to the Fiesta. There's also Girl Camper. Girl Camper they have tons a lot of outings. They have guides for nearly every state, and those guides put together outings. And so those are, kind of a regional thing. You don't have to belong to that state. You can travel from a different state. And we actually, since last year, we've been teaching camper colleges, and we've done that kind of regionally or state by state with Girl Camper. And so there are really super fun. I mean, they've done like these big rafting trips, and they do the Camper College, which is a very educational trip. And so they do a lot of things.
And that's all for Girl Campers, and it's heavily vetted in terms of who can go.
Right.
And also they keep the locations kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Just because
for
they
safety.
Do.
Yeah.
Another one that we didn't put on our list, we went to Camp Carpe Diem, which was a beer-focused rally.
That's true. We did. That is Camp Carpe Diem is with the April and Ken, who have a podcast called Living a Stout Life, which is they're beer chasers.
Yeah.
They travel all over the place looking for great beer. And they do an annual, this coming up year, they have 2 Camp Carpe Diems in different parts of the country, and they move around the country so that if you weren't able to go this year to Arkansas, maybe you'll make it next year to
that.
I want to say one's in South Dakota, and I don't remember the other.
That Arkansas, it's the only brewery at
inside a national park. Yeah.
Boy, that was fun. That was just really a great experience.
Right.
Why are we still here?
Why are we still here even though the Frog Rally is over? We are here because this weekend is the RV Miles Homecoming Meetup.
Yeah. Our friends Jason and Abby from RV Miles have put together this annual gathering here in Amana, Iowa, and they have workshops and just fun dinners and things like that all the time.
And they will play
bags
or cornhole. We will probably just watch because
we'll probably be at Mill Creek Brewing.
We might be at Mill Creek Brewing
Company.
That
is a good
There also,
brewery.
I think there's some talk of the people who don't want to throw bags might put together some board game tables or something like that. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. And this is our first one. This is their second, but we weren't able to make it last year because we're at
the Balloon Fiesta with Birds of a Feather.
There's just too many gatherings, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. There are so many. And then there are some specific to your brand of RVs. So, so we put together a little Facebook group that's really kind of gone kind of big.
Yeah, 12,000 something.
Yeah, something like that. It's nuts. But it's for Rockwood Mini Light and Flagstaff Microlight travel trailers. And now some of the people in those groups have arranged regional rallies
Yeah.
where they get together and do rally stuff, but also compare notes about the trailers and go on
Yeah.
trailer tours. And I know we have friends who have Grand Design trailers. They have these rallies too. And so if whatever brand, I know like the fiberglass egg trailers have
Right.
rallies like crazy.
And so some of these are going to be very, kind of formal. Like Frog is actually a company, right?
Yeah, it is.
And Frog puts on some of these rallies. But then, for example, these people that just happen to live close to each other and all have mini lights and belong to a group say, hey, let's all go camping together at XYZ place.
Yeah,
And then it turns into a rally, and they're like, hey, we had so much fun, let's do it again next year.
yeah. This year we've been to one in South Llano Beach, Texas. We've
Yep.
been to one in Michigan.
I'm very proud of you for remembering what 2 states we were in.
Yeah, imagine that. So, and
Okay.
we've been to local rallies in Santa Fe for FMCA,
FMCA, yeah.
and I mean, just so many reasons. So why would I want to go to an RV rally?
Well, the number one thing I think is to meet new people and make new friends.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, whether you're joining a group of 5 other egg campers or you're joining a group of 1,000 other FMCA, FRVA, Family RV Association members, you're going to meet new people.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great.
Well, here's the good thing about those new people. They have something in common with you, right? We're all RVers.
Right.
So no matter what, if there's always something to talk about. Hey, what did you do with this cabinet?
Yeah.
Hey, how often do you grease your wheel bearings? Whatever it is. So the common topic is always RVing.
Right.
And that's so cool.
Yes.
And it helping people make friends. And one of the funnest things about that was we were at FMCA in Arizona, right?
Okay.
Met some people at the donuts in the morning.
Yeah.
That's another reason to go. They serve donuts.
Right.
But anyway, met people that we hung out with. Then here we are in Shipshewana, and they're like, hey, is that you that just walked by our camper? And
she messaged me on Facebook. She's like, did I just see you walk by? And it was. And we also met Paul and Cindy at FMCA in Gillette, Wyoming.
That's true.
And now we've been hanging out with them quite a bit. We met our friend Bill at a frog rally. Jason and Abby and Tony and Peggy chase each other around the country and sometimes meet up at rallies.
Yeah.
How's that?
There you go. I can't understate the value of the fellowship and the people that you meet. And they're all pretty darn cool people. I mean, we like last night there was no fire because it was really windy.
Mm-hmm.
Night before, it was big old fire. We're all gathered around telling stories and all that. It's pretty great. So, and this rally, the Frogtoberfest, is a more casual, don't think you go to the rally and you're forced to do anything.
Correct.
You do not have to go to like our neighbors behind us did not go to the group dinners. They just hung out. They said, we're having a good old Midwest fish fry, and did.
Oh,
so
missed that.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you go to these, they're really loose in terms of requirements, unless you like sign up for, like at the Frog Rally, they have museum tours. The National Frog Rally, they have museum tours. So you actually pay extra and you go to the whatever tours they have that year. So, I mean, if you paid for it, you probably want to go.
Right, but that's also a benefit of being at this rally. It might be hard to get a tour of whatever place that is as an individual or as 2 people. But when a group puts it together and they say, we're going to bring 30 people on this tour, you might get a tour that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get on your own.
Some of them are either you go to a place that really isn't open to the public, Sometimes, like at Frog, there's manufacturing tours, or special places that might only be open to the group. So yeah, that's just one of, I don't know how many hundreds of reasons to go, but that's one. Another is at Frog, and I know this is true of the Winnebago rallies and of the Grand Design rallies and all of that, is you can get factory service at
Right.
some of these.
Right. So in particular, we know Frog, of course, because that's what we belong to. That's, where we go. The Frog rallies, you can have like 3 service items taken care of, like warranty items. Maybe like the second year that we went, we had a little tower of power in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
And the first time I pulled it up, I think that it was misformed, but I don't know. I broke it. It broke. And the wires were hanging loose and it never got back. Yeah, I'm so muscular. It never laid back down flat with the countertop. So anyway, that was one of our items. It doesn't have to be something major, a big old
Right.
flaw, but it was just something that I didn't realize what a tower of power is. It's really just an extension cord.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
so I watched him take the drawer out, replug in a new one, and install it up in the. I'm like, oh, I could have done that, but I didn't know. And so we were just very grateful to be able to get that fixed when we were
Yeah.
at the rally.
But yeah, and I know a lot of these manufacturers rallies, that's something you can do. Or another thing is not just factory service, but like Quartzsite, they have
Yeah.
bays and bays of, I know Redlands RV is there, Dometic was there, I can't remember who all else. But all this aftermarket, Moride was there.
Yeah, so
All
maybe
this, yeah.
maybe you don't have a new rig, or maybe you don't go to a rally that's specific, that has specific people working on that. But you can go to these kind of rallies where you make an appointment with Dometic and you get your refrigerator changed out, for example,
Yeah.
or something like that, or any, maybe a new air conditioner, and it might
Oh,
be,
yeah.
it might be something that it's because your air conditioner quit working, or it might be that you found a vendor, which we'll talk about, and said, I have to have that. And then you pull into their bay and they sell you that thing.
Yeah, I mean, I remember at the Frog Rally, there was all these, I don't know what they're called, but man lifts, where they had like dudes up on the roof putting in new air conditioners and things like that. So a lot of time, I know ABC Upfitters is at the Frog Rally, for example.
So that's actually another reason to go to rallies. The ones that are, especially the big ones, will have maybe a whole building or a whole tent or a whole bunch of buildings of vendor booths. Now, you might find a new air conditioner, or you might find new pot holders, you might find anything that, as a magazine slogan, a catalog slogan that I used to get, I remember a long time mail order, things you didn't know existed, but you can't possibly live without.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of the gadgets and accessories in this RV are because we walked past him in a booth at a rally and said, we got to have that.
Like your little table.
Like my little table, yeah.
Or, yeah, that's a lot of times. Well, we had Daryl from Wacko Products
Yes.
put in an air conditioner silencer.
Yes.
Just all kinds of stuff.
We literally did have Dometic put a refrigerator in
Dometic
for
put
us.
our refrigerator in for us.
So that kind of service, or those kind of just gadgets and things that you can do on your own. We've bought pots and pans, we've bought storage solutions, we bought our bedding, our RV super bag. All these things came from vendors at a rally.
Yeah, yeah. So another thing is seminars and workshops. Some of these rallies have really good seminars and workshops. Some of them are sales pitches for stuff, let's be honest. But usually the better rallies will tell you this is a sponsored seminar, so you don't go in, thinking you're going to actually learn something and really you're getting a sales pitch. Some of them, they are very, like FMCA, for example, is really on top of the content, So even if it is a vendor who sells stuff there, it has to have value above and beyond, hey, buy my stuff.
Now, there are seminars that they're noted as this is, and they're not going to say these words, this is a sales pitch.
Right.
You know, and some of
Fantasy
them,
RV tours.
fantasy RV tours, they tell you how great, let's say, Australia is, but what they're really telling you is how you can save money by going with them.
Right. And I mean, they actually, they do a good job with those RV tours as it is. So
Right.
we're not putting them down by any means.
But we teach a lot of seminars. So, I mean, so you can learn all kinds of stuff, even if it's not right. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We do teach a lot of seminars. We teach at the FMCA. I don't know if we have to keep calling it that. The FMCA rallies, the frog rallies. We're going to teach one here at the RV Miles homecoming. So they can be, any topic. They can be a topic from... Tupperware has seminars at the frog rally.
Probably not anymore.
Well, maybe not anymore, yeah. But they have had seminars at the frog rally.
Yeah.
And you learned how to adjust or maintain the Dexter axles.
Oh my gosh, yes.
At a rally.
I was at the Dexter axle workshop and learned how to maintain the wheel bearings and brakes. We went to Lippert Slide. There was a double seminar of Lippert slide systems, and that's where we learned more about our slide system. I went to one by Eric Sell and learned about the different sealants and all of that. So a lot of them, there's really good actual manufacturers there of stuff.
Right, but they're also great, I'm just going to show you my pictures from when I went to Alaska. Sometimes those are just great to sit through. If you want, maybe you want to go to Alaska, or maybe you can't ever make it to, I don't know, Alaska, Peru, whatever. And someone is telling you about, showing you the slides from their vacation.
Hey, here's my vacation slides.
Some of those seminars are just fun to just kind of sit through and visit places through someone else's eyes, or maybe I'm a little tired of learning right now. I just want to see pretty pictures, and so those are nice. So seminars about everything under the sun.
Yeah. Another thing, at some of the larger rallies, there are new RVs, and you can go. We were at an FMCA rally. Steve Harvey was there shopping for RVs.
Right. Now, when you go to, for example, an RV show, that's what you expect. You expect to be looking at rigs, RVs all day long, because that's what you're doing, is you're looking to see if you're ready to buy or you're not ready to buy, whatever. That's what you expect to see. So at rallies, you may not think of it as that. And they don't all have new RVs, and some of them maybe just have one vendor or one dealership that will bring 6 RVs. Whatever it is, they're not always there, but some of them are. But, new RVs and new gadgets, those are pretty exciting to see.
At least for us. Yeah, that's true. A lot of times new gadgets. We saw the dude from the my RV school, and he had an escape ladder.
Yep.
I mean, that was, so if you're in a fifth wheel, how do you jump down from the second floor?
Right.
Well, this dude had an escape ladder that you shove out the window and it unfurls and you're safe.
Right.
If there's a fire. So
he also sets himself on fire.
Yeah, he does.
So that's very entertaining.
That's another thing. He sets himself on fire. So there you go.
So,
speaking of entertainment,
not everybody sets themselves on fire, but sometimes a rally will bring in big or small name entertainment. Some of those local entertainers are just as entertaining as, the Rolling Stones or whatever.
Well, we've never seen the Rolling Stones at an RV rally, but we did see Three Dog Night.
We did, and that was fantastic.
Gosh, they were good. I was shocked at how on this band was. They were fantastic.
And sometimes it may not be a concert. It might be bingo night, which Tony laughed at and then won and had a really good time. Maybe a dance. Maybe, a lot of
parades.
them will have parades, and those are a lot of fun. Sometimes they'll have costumes, or sometimes they'll just be like maybe the whole rally will have a theme. And so every night you're supposed to show up in a different Oktoberfest hat, for
Yeah.
example, or something. And so there's a lot of just fun. And that kind of goes back to that meeting new people. Like what if you happen to both show up in the same beer keg hat? Like you're going to be best friends for life, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the entertainment and the group stuff. And again, if that's not your thing, you don't have to go to that part of it.
Right. No one's knocking on your door saying, "Hey, it's time. Get out
That's
here
right.
and go to the whatever."
I think we know the most about the FMCA rallies because we've been to the most of those. Some of them have, what are those chapter? Oh, where you drive around and the chapter has a part of the campground, and you go and they like that's where we learned or we met all the New Mexico chapter folks.
Right. So I can't remember what it's called either, but it's almost like trick or treating, right? Like this chapter will all kind of park together, and then they'll have a little party one evening. And we just actually rode around with someone on their golf cart, and we went from this chapter and had their snacks and learned about them, and then we carted off to the next chapter, and we just went and made a bunch of friends, saw a bunch of people, had a bunch of fun food.
Yeah, and met before we even moved to New Mexico, we met the people from the New Mexico region of the FMCA.
That's
so
right.
that was good.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of food, because don't we always speak of food? These rallies are going to have, they're going to run the gamut, right? Sometimes they will have catered meals. Sometimes they will have potlucks. Sometimes they'll bring in food trucks. A lot of times, thank goodness, there's ice cream socials. The FMCA in particular has donuts and coffee like every morning of their
with
international
this thing
rally.
Called the Frustrated Maestros, which is another group. It's a chapter of the FMCA. And what it is it's people who have some musical talent, for better or worse.
Right.
And they get together and they play at these rallies. And it's fun because sometimes they do these little skits and you're eating your donuts and you're getting to know people and they're walking around with umbrellas and it's just, I don't know, I like that kind of stuff. And so the meals are a definite part of it.
And that's going to kind of be a little bit depend on the size. Like you're not going to maybe have a potluck if there's 1,000 rigs.
Right.
Because that would be unbearable to deal with. But we did have a potluck with the Frog Rally, and there were 80.
With Frogtoberfest.
I'm sorry, Frogtoberfest.
Yeah, because Frog in Indiana, the national, has catered meals.
They have
every meal.
Every meal. Well,
just about. Yeah, right.
Well, vendors get catered lunches.
Right.
But the breakfasts and dinners are all part of the rally fee. But potlucks are great because you get to choose what you want. Again, just like, do you want to be involved in all this stuff? You also get to walk over and say, do I really want to eat that? Or do I want to eat that? Or take two servings of that? And I get some of my best recipes from potlucks.
This Frogtoberfest, I have to say, was the best, I think, potluck I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Because everybody, a lot of times at a potluck, people are like, oh, I brought chips and salsa, or I brought, like grocery store potato salad. Some of these people are known for some of these dishes, and it was good.
It was good. We had so many homemade, a lot of crock pot meals, a lot of baked things, and salads, fancy salads. Just really, really, really good selection. We did not have only store cookies and chips and salsa.
Yeah. and store potato salad.
Which can happen at a potluck when we throw a party, for example, and I say, oh, just bring something. Well, do you want it to be a dessert or I don't care. If everybody brings potato salad, then that's what we're eating at my party. But we really lucked out with this one. I didn't, unfortunately, get any new recipes, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Another reason to go is because the rallies are held at a place you might want to go to. For example, we're at Frogtoberfest, duh. We've mentioned it a million times already, but it's here in Amana Colonies at their Oktoberfest, and it's just a neat place to be, this Amana Colonies. It's an old Mennonite community. Is it Mennonite community, right?
I think so.
And they used to have these communal kitchens, and everyone would just eat there. And it's just a different, more relaxed way of life, but it's pretty cool. So we really like it here.
And we love that we were able to, especially in this particular situation, 2 weekends in a row. So we have the week in the middle to kind of go and just wander around Amana when it's not crowded with Oktoberfest patrons, which is also kind of nice. They have a lot of cute, wonderful little shops, and the butcher shop and the Christmas store.
Oh yeah, the Christmas store and the general store
and the chocolate shop
and the German restaurants, and
so
it's just great.
It's just a great place to hang out. And would we have ever been here if there weren't events here? Who knows?
Well, we have been here, but it was kind of like we stopped for a day, and now it's like we're here.
Right.
And I'm glad that we're here.
For sure.
Here. So how would you find us at rallies?
Well, they will be of course, on our website in the events and car show events and RV show calendar.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have our list of RV events, and we put a thing on there if we're going to be there.
But I'm going to be honest.
So it's either a thing to avoid or not.
I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit behind on that, so I'll be getting caught up. But if you happen to be at the RV Miles Homecoming this weekend, so are we.
Yeah, so are we.
Come say
hi. Or in Amana. We will absolutely be at the Quartzsite Sports Vacation and RV show.
Absolutely will
we
be.
are once again managing the seminar tent, and we are also giving 2 seminars a day.
So we'll definitely be at the tent all the time.
Yeah. We'll be hard to miss.
We'll be hard to miss, even if you want to. And then after the event is over, then as we did last year, we'll find a spot out in the desert with enough space for however many people want to join us, and we'll just hang out for a week. And it'll be
an RV rally.
It'll be an RV rally. All we ever really manage to kind of plan, and sometimes that plan happens like 2 hours before mealtime, is potlucks.
Well, we went to the desert bar.
We did go to the desert bar.
We went to the adult daycare center.
Right. But our rallies are a little more loosey-goosey. You know, there's not seminars, there's not set things. There's just like drink coffee until potluck lunch, and then drink coffee until potluck dinner, and then have a campfire.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kind of our itinerary.
Yeah, they're pretty low-key, and some people come and go and all that, so it's all good.
Yeah.
We are also going to be at the Perry Family RV Association, or FMCA rally, March 12th through 15th in Perry, Georgia.
That's right. We are going to be teaching seminars.
Yep.
I put in my application. I'm not going to say that we are teaching 3, because it's possible that I don't get accepted, but that's never happened. Anytime I've submitted 3, we've been scheduled for 3. So we will probably be teaching the big 3 seminars that we teach. And that will be in Perry, Georgia in March.
We have a bunch of new seminars.
Well, in Quartzsite.
Because in Quartzsite, we have so many. We're doing 2 a day that I don't
want to do the same 3 that many times.
Gosh, no. So we have some new ones that we've been polishing up. Mm-hmm. So we will test them on you if you are at Quartzsite.
That's right. So that, hopefully, if you ever were like, why in the heck would I ever want to go to an RV rally? Hopefully now you have at least some ideas of why you should go. And we hope that we see you at one sometime soon.
Yeah, do go. They really are pretty terrific. And if you're going to go and we're there and you need a tour guide or something, we're happy to do it. By the way, I'm looking out the window and there's a golf cart dragging a picnic table.
Oh, maybe they're bringing it to our site.
Maybe.
All right. So as we have said a few times already, we are in Amana, Iowa. We went to Amana Oktoberfest. Mm-hmm. That was really, I think, really well done. Well, it was very interesting, honestly. Let's back up a little. It was well done. We had a great time. It was a little bit surprising that the gate you pay to go in and you get your wristband so that you could go in what was inside was the fest hall where they had bands and
Like
lots
a
of
giant barn.
yeah, like a big barn and lots of seating and beer, and then a tent where they had more beer and food, and they had a row of privies,
Yeah.
and that was it. Like I thought there'd be all kinds of vendors and stuff,
Well, I
but
would, yeah, you
there
would.
weren't.
I mean, I think the idea of this Amana Oktoberfest is to bring people into the town of Amana, where they have
Right.
all these great small businesses like the candy store and the general
Sure.
store and the Christmas store. I think that's the idea. The interesting thing about the okay, so we paid $20 to go to the Oktoberfest, like in the Oktoberfest for 2 days. And what we got was the ability to buy beer and food. But there's also some pretty
And
great
listen to
bands,
music.
including one that was all tubas.
That's right. Then also down the street, which really wasn't associated, but takes good advantage of the fact that people are there, is at Mill
Stream Brewing?
is they were having an Oktoberfest
Yeah.
essentially. They had tents outside and they were selling beer out of a truck and they had food, and so it was
They had their own beer, which is really, really good beer.
it was, and
that's what
that
they
beer was
had.
also being served at the official Oktoberfest, but they weren't related really. So if you just wanted to go to the brewery and hang out at their Oktoberfest, you just did.
Well, the interesting thing is the official Oktoberfest, you couldn't bring beer out of the Oktoberfest, but if you went to Millstream Brewing, you could just walk around with it.
Yeah, you just got your beer and then you just wandered around town. So we had to like chug a beer so we could go out of the gate and go check things out. And what we first saw was a parade of people drinking beer in the street. And we're like, how did that happen?
Yeah,
And it's because they actually went to another portion of it, which was the keg tapping event.
Yeah.
And so they were there and they tapped the keg, filled their beers, and then paraded through town. So
Yeah.
they were that was the parade. But Amana, we have talked about Amana before. We wrote an article.
We have an article about it.
Yes, we have an article that Tony wrote like about a year ago. And so we will put that link, of course, in the show notes, and you can read about the fun things to do at the Amana colonies, which is actually like 7 little communities right here in this little portion of Iowa.
Yep. Boy, so Steve and Kathy shared a recipe with us. I want to try this so much.
It's going to be so terrific. So I'm calling it Steve's Savory Autumn Stew.
Okay.
And it is, all the things you would put in a stew, veggies and meat, I guess. But you bake them inside of one of those small sugar pumpkins or pie pumpkins, the small ones. Those are the best for eating. If you get those big giant ones, they're fun for carving, but they're not as
That's
tasty.
a lot of stew.
Well, they're not as tasty also. Well, you could make one in a big pumpkin
I guess.
and then just serve it that way. But the great thing about making them in these little sugar pumpkins is everybody gets their own. It's like a bread bowl, but it's pumpkin. And you lay out all the ingredients, smoked meats and all kinds of chopped up veggies and broth, and everybody kind of builds their own.
Oh, I didn't know that was part of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you just put in there what you want off of it's like a stew bar, right?
Huh.
So I think it'd be super fun to do at a camp out. And then the trick is, of course, if you or whoever, when you take the top off of the pumpkin, you have to put little notches or some kind of design in it so you recognize which pumpkin is yours. So that if you make your stew with extra onions and I make my stew with extra sugar snap peas, we don't get them mixed up.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the first fun part. Well, of course, the first fun part is digging all the guts out of the pumpkins, right?
Well, yeah, and eating stew out of a pumpkin.
But the great thing is then once you've baked this stew and cooked it all together, you've also cooked the meat of the pumpkin. And so as you take bites, you scrape some of the pumpkin out, and you have all the things you put in the stew plus pumpkin.
I like it.
I love it. I can't wait to try it.
Yeah. So that sounds good. Well, this week we want to talk about something gadget-wise that we've had for a year and a half
We've had
now.
it for a while. Yeah.
So where we live in New Mexico has a ton of ouchy stuff on the road, goat heads and prickly stuff, just
Cactus
stuff,
spines.
tire popping stuff,
Right.
right? So we got these Tanis tire inserts for our electric bikes,
Mm-hmm.
and we have yet to have a flat tire. And
Right.
we've ridden them in the, up and down the street in the desert and around our property where there's plenty of ouchy things to pop tires.
Right. We had ours actually installed in Quartzsite last
Yeah.
year. And so even in Quartzsite, you're out and you might run over a cactus or something by accident. What a Tanis makes me think of is a a pool noodle
Okay.
split open and put inside the tire, so that
Yeah.
it basically protects the inner tube, right? Just
Okay.
kind of an extra layer of chunkiness between the
Yeah, it's
inner
like this,
tube and the outer stickers.
it's a gummy thing that goes inside your bike tire. And it helps if you have a flat, you don't get a flat. Flat.
Your flat is less flat.
Yeah, your flat is not so flat. And it just protects the bike and keeps you riding. So they're pretty cool things. So if you're thinking, oh, I ride where I get a lot of flats or whatever, these Tanis bike tire inserts, I like them.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to talk much about this week's RV because we have a whole separate video
We have
about
a whole separate video about the Thor electric motorhome, which is in concept still,
it. Yep.
but maybe a concept whose time is just about to come.
Yeah, go and watch if you're at all curious about this, and especially if you're like, oh, I don't like EVs. Go watch this anyway because Thor actually has a really good way of doing this. So we'll encourage you to do that, and that's what you get. So if you're curious, we'll put a link in the show notes to that video.
We would like to remind you that we have a favor. We would like you, if you have a spooky camping story, we'd like you to submit it for our Halloween episode.
Yeah, which is
our
coming
least
up.
popular episode of the year, by the way.
It is.
But it's the most fun for us, so we're going to keep doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So you can email us at happycamper@stresslesscamping.com. Or if you're in all those social places where they have private messaging, go ahead and use that. We'll find it.
Yeah.
We'll find you, and you can get a story to us. And then we'll either read it, or maybe we'll even have you call and read it to us.
Yeah.
So that, maybe we don't have the right inflection on the word spooky. Please, if you would like to do that, submit that to us as soon as possible so that we can get that episode put together and ready for Halloween.
We're working on our Halloween episode now, and we are only working with a skeleton crew. So.
Oh boy, we have a ghost of a chance of getting this done in time.
And we don't mean to be haunting you with this, but there we go.
Okay, are we done?
Yes.
All right. Last week's question of the week, I asked you if you would please share a regional food favorite that you've discovered in your travels. A couple of weeks ago, we gave you all of our answers.
Yeah,
right?
there was a
That's all
whole
we talked
episode about stuff.
And so we did get a few responses, and I just have to say, Karen, I'm sorry, but pasties didn't make our list. And
No.
I understand that you enjoy them by smothering them in gravy, and maybe that would have been...
Well, we got gravy when we got them.
Yeah, we just didn't know. Maybe
no,
because...
we did, and it was still, it's like...
It was just brown gravy. So anyway, I'm glad that you enjoy them, and you just keep on doing that.
Ouch. But
We had a few other favorites. Tony actually sent a picture of a Scottish breakfast, Tony Gibney, and whoo la la, those guys eat breakfast.
Oh yeah. Proper breakfast.
Yeah.
Although you kind of lose me on the black pudding, but still, yeah, all of that looks good to me.
Yeah. So this week we were wondering if you have some thoughts you'd like to share about the non-resident state park camp fees.
Yeah.
I know that it's kind of frustrating sometimes when you have to pay more than your friends did because you went to visit them in another state, but I think the one point I want to make, and we can still discuss this, is that residents pay taxes and they subsidize those parks.
Yeah.
And so I think that, as much as it might frustrate me, I don't have a problem paying extra fees when I'm at a state park in a different state.
Wow.
So there.
And you can weigh in on that in our fun and friendly Stressless Campers Facebook group.
Yes.
And know that, any question you have or whatever, we've had some great posts this week there. And it's just a fun way to share the RV lifestyle. And everybody there is really polite, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. You also can sign up on our website for the weekly newsletter. It is fun and friendly. Oh wait, that's the group.
Well,
it's
the
also fun and
newsletter
friendly,
is too.
but it's also free, and it has links to stories and videos and podcasts and things that we think that will help you get the most out of your RV experience.
Yep, all you got to do is visit our website, and if it's one of your first times, welcome. There'll be a pop-up where you could sign up, but at the bottom of every page there's a sign-up form. So know that we never share your information with anybody. We only send one email a week. And we also have, coming up kind of soonish, some pretty great things we're giving away to people who are subscribers. So
right.
no cost, no tricks. We have some cool stuff.
Okay. You can also find on our website the show notes for this episode, which is number 276 on the podcast page at StressLessCamping.com.
Well, there are also discounts and deals for the best deals on the things you'll need for your Stressless Camping adventure. And if you've got a great deal for our audience, let us know.
Please. Of course, we are on all the social places. So when you've done all those other things on StressLessCamping.com, you can jump off to all the places I don't list anymore because I always mess them up. And continue to hang out with us in those places.
Wow, there you go. And of course, if you don't want to miss a future episode of the Stressless Camping Podcast, it's free. And we'd love to have you around our virtual campfire. You can find us at any podcast app or, again, at our home on the web. And
and a review will help others find this podcast. And more listeners means we can continue to get great guests, which we haven't had in a couple weeks because we've had a lot to say. Sorry.
yeah.
We'll get you some guests coming up soon. So please, if you haven't already done so, leave a review. And if you have already done so, you can still help.
Yeah. Did you know that if you see something you like on the Stressless Camping website, or let's say you have a question you've seen on social media, you want to provide a verified answer, a lot of times we have those answers on the website. So if you share those pages with people in your social media circle, boy, does that ever help us. So thank you. And it's free.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? So share what you find on our website in your social world, and thank you so much for that. It really, really helps us. So with that, we really appreciate your being here with us once again as we come to you from Amana Colonies.
Go out and have a rally.
Yeah, we are. Yes, we are. So thank you, and
Stressless Camping.